Welcome back to the show. If you own a small business, maybe top of mind isn't necessarily technology right off the bat. There are so many things to think about as a small business. Well, my next guest helps with a number of different solutions for small businesses. I'm joined by Ruth Aliu. She's the founder of Techity Consulting. Welcome. Great to have you here, Ruth.
Good afternoon, Derek.
Ruth, tell me a little bit about your background.
My background has been in IT security and compliance. Did my bachelor's in IT, my master's in IT security from Concordia, and my career has just spanned engineering, program management, compliance, and cybersecurity, securing critical infrastructure for the government of Canada. And I pivoted to entrepreneurship in 2021, juggled that for a bit, and recently became full-time at Techity.
Congratulations.
Thank
so
you
you're
so
a
much.
smart cookie, is what you're telling me.
If you say so.
I do say so, because my brain does not compute with the things, that we're going to discuss. And I think that's why it's so great to have someone like yourself. Why in particular did you decide to work with small businesses, Ruth?
I found that there was a gap for a lot of solopreneurs and small businesses where, when it came to tech, there are two camps: people that knew what they were doing and people that felt very overwhelmed by the thought of setting up tech. And if you go to the standard IT consulting or IT support firm, they have a minimum threshold of maybe 5 figures, amounts that make it prohibitive for small businesses to leverage help. And so I wanted to lower that barrier of entry to say you don't have to have the bells and whistles. You can start from something basic, and as you scale, you also scale your tech along the way.
So, okay, what is something basic that a small business should be considering?
Absolutely. So for a small business, one thing the pandemic taught us is having a presence online.
Oh, yes.
Because a lot of people that were in person had to pivot online and did not know the first thing to get started with. So a landing page, can you be found on Google when I put your business name? What does that look like? And there's the notion that you need a website. You don't necessarily need a website.
Really?
You may just need a landing page that has what you do, how to contact you. Do you have a business email? You don't have to invest the big bucks. You can start with something free or low cost. Do you have a social media presence? If people go online, how do they contact you? Very elementary things that do not break the bank, but is really the first step in people reaching you, contacting you, chatting with you.
That's interesting, because I think a lot of people, the pandemic is a perfect example. A lot of people are like, oh my goodness, I need an online presence. And then they probably ended up spending much more than they needed to, or having, as you said, a full website with, tons of different information that's not necessary. Have you seen that? Is there any truth to that?
I would say so, because, for example, if anyone looks up my business, you'll see something called a Google Business Profile. That is free. And so putting in that information, putting in posts and videos and links will be a good place to start. Going to Facebook groups and community groups, networking events with maybe a digital card. You don't always have to invest in a physical card. A digital card that has all of your links. It's a good way for people to know a little bit about what you do, where to get started from, email marketing, things like that. And so it doesn't have to be a website. Social media has made it that opening an Instagram account or a Twitter account also gives people exposure to your business.
Right. You mentioned your educational and professional background in cybersecurity as well. I would imagine that's something top of mind for all small businesses when they get that online presence. Well, how do I protect myself? How do you help out in that fashion?
I would say that when people hear cybersecurity, they think it's like this big, you have to be like an enterprise level business to think about cybersecurity. But it's even as simple as don't use the same password on all of your accounts. Something elementary like that. And even it doesn't have to be complex. You start from where you are. If you want a pattern to your passwords, that is great. But I always recommend using a password manager. They are free password manager applications. Oh, yeah.
So what's a password manager?
A password manager is an application that people can save their passwords in that is secure. So you have like a master password that only you knows, and that's really the only password you need to think about. Once you log in, you have all of the passwords, and password managers allow you create very complex passwords that you don't have to remember.
Right.
And so that's one way to be secure. And if you have a website, ensuring that you have that lock that you see when you go to the website, just to show that, okay, anything going on this website is secure, is also a great way to do that. When it comes to sensitive information for your clients, how are you securing that? Can I just come to your laptop and see that on your desktop? Or is that protected with a password? Or is that in a different location from where your regular files are? So it's not a big start, but starting from where you are in your business.
Right, and so many small businesses, of course, too, when they start out, and maybe they get to a growing point where they can afford to have one. But what about IT support? Right, that's probably another issue for I've just started. I can't hire somebody full time to be my IT support, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of small businesses don't have a big tech stack, right?
Yeah,
it's the basics. They want to ensure that their websites cannot be compromised by hackers. So who's looking at your website routinely to ensure that all the updates are getting on the site, who's looking to ensure that your automation, your workflow between your website and your email and your funnels and all of these cool things, who's ensuring that all of that they're all talking together, who's ensuring that the laptop you're working from is secure,
right.
Because if that gets compromised, then everything gets compromised.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where, I definitely think that's where tech support comes in, where someone is coming in at your own cadence. Once a month, quarterly, I'll recommend monthly because security updates from Apple and Microsoft come out monthly.
Okay.
So just ensuring that someone is coming, checking that your apps are updated, you're getting your software updates will be something that I highly recommend small businesses do, because people think that if you're a small business, you can't get hacked. And there's a lot of statistics that have shown that.
Sometimes you're the easier, right? You're the easier victim to go after. Wow. This is a smart cookie right here as I set up the... Ruth, how do people get in touch with you?
I'm everywhere.
Okay.
But techityconsult.ca, people can book a free 20-minute consult, so I can assess their needs and make informed recommendations.
Fantastic.
I can be found on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn.
She's everywhere.